the Maldives, a shimmering jewel scattered across the endless blue of the Indian Ocean. For decades, it has been the sanctuary of the world's elite. Billionaires, celebrities, dreamers chasing the horizon. Drawn to its postcard-perfect beaches, its aquamarine lagoons, and the vibrant world that lives beneath the waves. This is paradise, as the world imagines it. But paradise has a past. Once the Maldives was a land defined by exclusivity, a retreat for the few, nestled behind the high gates of five-star luxury. The experience, impeccable. The cost, astronomical. To many, it was a dream just out of reach. But then, something changed. In the early 2000s, the tides turned. A new government initiative opened the doors to tourism on inhabited islands, ushering in a wave of locally run guest houses, budget travel, and a vision of paradise now accessible to the many. Today, the Maldives is no longer just for the ultra-wealthy. It is a destination for honeymooners, backpackers, and families. For anyone with a thirst for sun, sea, and serenity. From the opulence of overwater villas to the humble charm of island homestays, the dream is sold to all. But behind the dream lurks a shadow, a fragile system straining beneath the weight of its promises, cracks that widen in the absence of oversight. And for some, paradise comes at a price far greater than any brochure could ever reveal.
Hi, I'm Jenna, and this is me before the show.
November 2024. Jenna Chan was just 15 years old, a bright and compassionate student who dreamed of being a geriatrician. What was meant to be a life-changing educational journey ended in unimaginable tragedy. She traveled as part of an outdoor education program, an initiative designed to immerse students in the majesty of the ocean and instill respect for the marine world. It was a journey built on purpose, built on trust. The partner, the Maldives Whale Shark Research Program, a respected name. The location, South Ari Atoll. The activity, a supervised swim, guided by professionals, supported by teachers. But on November 8th, something went catastrophically wrong. The boat was not captained by its usual helmsman. A new face stood at the controls, one whose name to this day raises more questions than answers. Despite concerns, staff from the program assured everyone, he is experienced, he is safe. The water was calm. The engine was off. Jenna and a teacher entered the sea, unaware of the danger that lay ahead. Suddenly, the boat's engine roared to life. Excitement turned to confusion, then to terror. A scream pierced the air. Miss B, a teacher, shouted, "Where's Jenna?" No one knew what had just happened. Then came panic, screaming, chaos. The students watched, helpless. Another teacher surfaced. He was holding Jenna in his arms, grievously hurt. The crew were frozen, paralyzed by fear. Instead, it was the children, Jenna's friends, who pulled her limp body onto the boat. Just kids, forced to do what the adults would not, forced to witness the unimaginable. Paradise shattered. There had been no safety officer on board, no trained emergency personnel, no one clearly responsible for rescue. Those who were supposed to be watching were swimming far from the boat, There was no emergency plan, no airlift, no ambulance, no rapid response, just delay, confusion, and children left to suffer. The experienced captain had engaged the engine. The boat's propeller tore through the water, and with it, through a young life. Jenna, bright, joyful, full of wonder, never stood a chance. What followed was frantic, chaotic. No one called 119. No emergency services were activated. Time slipped away in silence. Desperate hands tried CPR, each compression more frantic than the last. But hope was fading. Evacuation plans, rehearsed in calmer times, crumbled under pressure. Like a mirage, disappearing just when it was needed most. Despite every desperate effort, the unthinkable was confirmed. Jenna was gone, lost forever. As the boats returned to the island, they washed the blood away, Jenna's blood, casually, without a word. It slipped into the sea, lost in the swell as if it had never mattered. In Singapore, her family waited. Her sister eagerly anticipated stories of wonder. Her parents expected laughter, photographs, memories. Instead, they received the call no parent should ever hear. Their beautiful daughter was gone.
On the fateful day on the 8th of November 2024, at 2:16 in the afternoon Singapore time, I had a call from the school. It was actually a school administrator who said that the principal wanted to speak to me. I was put on hold and then the line got cut off, but after about 10 minutes, before I finally spoke to the principal, he suddenly told me that Jenna died. I was stunned. I mean, how could that be? She just went on a school trip. He told me that she had fallen into the water and was hit by the propeller. It's just
unbelievable. Because I know Jenna, and she's a very risk-averse girl. She always does what the teacher says, and she would never do anything foolish or foolhardy.
She would always ask for permission. She wouldn't do anything on her own.
That's right. She would. Yeah, that's right.
She would never do that.
The dream of watching Jenna grow into a young woman, of seeing her flourish, of one day being cared for in their old age, was shattered in an instant. Jenna loved baking cookies with her grandma, laughing in the kitchen, sharing each sweet batch with her friends. Her grandma was waiting. Flour on the counter, chocolate chips in the bowl, hope in her heart. But Jenna never came home. A child lost, not to illness, not to an accident of nature, but to failure. Failure of protocol, failure of supervision, failure of care. The questions began immediately, and they have not stopped. Why weren't the guides on board? Why was the engine ever engaged with children in the water? Why did no one take responsibility? Every incident before this, there were pictures. Social media lit up within minutes. Evidence, eyewitnesses, outrage. But this time, nothing. No images, no posts. Silence. Why? Why were there no witnesses? Not from the other boats, not from the island itself. Was no one watching? Or was no one willing to speak? Authorities in the Maldives pledged answers, an investigation, a commitment to reform, and yet silence. Weeks turned into months. Still no conclusion, no accountability, no justice. The school acknowledged that someone had messed up, but it wasn't them. Not their staff, not their system, not their responsibility. Just someone. And with that, they moved on. The tragedy of Jenna Chan is not isolated. While the luxury resorts enforce strict safety codes, guest houses, operating under looser oversight, often slip through the cracks. Regulations exist, but enforcement? Sparse, inconsistent, sometimes non-existent. And the results? Predictable. Since Jenna's death, more lives have been lost, more tourists, more preventable accidents. Yet the promises of reform, fading like footprints on the shore. A new regulation mandating propeller guards on all tourist boats was announced. A deadline set. 3 months. Today, nothing has changed. So we ask again, how many more lives must be lost before action is taken? To some, Jenna was just another tourist. But to those who knew her, she was everything. A daughter, a sister, a friend, and now, a symbol. Not just of tragedy, but of a system in crisis. Of a paradise that hides painful truths beneath its turquoise surface. Jenna Chan was just 15. Bright, compassionate, full of promise. Her parents entrusted her life to a system that failed her. She died under their watch. No one has been held accountable. The school remains silent. The charity carries on. And the boat that killed her still cuts through the same waters. Each year, more children follow in Jenna's footsteps, chasing growth, discovery, and wonder. But what protects them if trust is the only safety net? They promised paradise, but beneath the surface was silence and denial. And until someone is held responsible, until truth is no longer buried at sea, how can any parent ever send their child again? We sent our daughter on a school trip to be educated and for her personal development. She never came back, and no one bothers to ask how or why.